I'm here doing sunset rather than broad daylight like usual. Okay, so hello. Today is the 13th, August 13th, 2024. I'm coming through to tell you another story time. So, this one is inspired by something that another creator said. Check him out, Intuitive Anthony. He is very funny. I love watching him. He speaks a lot of truth. You can relate so well to him, and he's very funny. Like, I'm a jokester. I mean, at the core of it, a lot of times being in a lot of these like narcissistic relationships, they tend to weigh you down, and they kind of change the core of who you are. If you're a fun-loving person, funny person, joyful person, they kind of take all those aspects and smother the heck out of them and, well, snuff them out basically. And what's left is just like overwhelm, anxiousness, depression, sometimes anger, things like that. Those things tend to grow more on you, and one day you look and you're like, hold on, I used to be such a joyful, happy, playful person. Why am I always upset? And over time, it's like you've kind of switched, right? But I know that I'm a jokester. I love to have fun. I love to smile. I love to laugh. I love to just joke. Like, I can come off the head with. I've been told many times that I'm very funny. And then, you know what? I've gotten a critique. Now, I've learned to listen to critiques because but you got to see where the critique is really coming from. Y'all know narcissists will not listen to no critiques, no criticism at all. All criticism is bad criticism. When actually, a lot of times, critiques just come to make you better. Sometimes you really do need to look at yourself, or what you're doing, or your actions, or whatever your product you're putting out. I'm a graphic designer, and the first thing we did after creating, because you're gonna either, for me, I always thought my stuff was the worst, so I didn't do that. You're either gonna think your stuff is great and can't be touched and can't nothing, or you're gonna, for me, I always was stuck in my head, oh, it's horrible, I can barely do this and do that, until someone else critiques it and says, no, it's beautiful, I love it, this and that, and then I'll start loving it too. So criticism, critiques, constructive criticism actually can make you better, right? We all can be critiqued, and that's the first thing we have to do at graphic design. You come with your project that you've sat with for the last 3 weeks, and you feel how you feel about it, and it's not until it's put up on that big old board and the whole class tells you, oh, I love this, oh, I love that, or oh my gosh, why did you use that font, what is that color, why would you even choose that? That's when you're taken aback and you're looking through other people's eyes. Narcissists can't stand it. I always thought about, how would a narcissist deal with being a graphic designer like that if they had to go through that, unless they were one of those great, awesome graphic designers that never had anything done wrong with their projects. Like, how could they actually have, like, I always thought that with my narcissists in my life. Like, I went through a lot of criticism, critiques. Some bad, some come from malice places, some come from actual people really wanting me to be better or do better. How could they deal with it? How would they deal with it? Wow. But anyways, he is funny. I got off on a rant. I rant sometimes, girl. I will try not to. I rant less when I have notes in front of me, when I've actually thought about my video, what exactly I want to do. But then sometimes I'm also told that it becomes too like almost like scripted. Some people like when I just talk off the top of my head. Now, when I do that, I'm gonna get sidetracked. But some people like that better, and some people like when I actually sit down, write out notes, have my thoughts, and just hit you with the bullet points, right? But anyways, it's all me, and I try different ways because I'm still trying to grow this channel and my other channel and my TikToks, and I'm just trying to grow, right? I'm trying to create something, right? Something worth something. So I'm trying different things. But Intuitive Anthony, that's where we got off on the sidetrack. He said something. Y'all check him out. I will put his channel in the description box so that y'all can go find him. I love him. I love him. I love him. And I know you'll love him too. But he said in one of his videos, The Narcissist, you can look over every now and then. If you look out the side of your eye, and you'll catch them when you are like basically to that point, like basically in the moment where it's almost like what is that word, reaction, when you're reacting to the narcissist, like you usually just gray rock them, you usually don't say nothing, you usually let it go, you usually let them be right. For me, that's how I usually handle it. But I'm human. I know you know I'm human. I got flesh, I got skin, I got fat, I got hair, human hair, human hair. I'm human, which means I'm imperfect. I'm imperfect. I'm not perfect. I'm imperfect. So at times, it gets too much for my humanity. I can't take it. I can't take it no more. And you say something back to them. You all know that you should not go back and forth with the narcissist. Silence is what's going to really kill them. But sometimes you just cannot. You have got to address the elephant in the room. This big old elephant is taking up all the space. It is there. You don't see it. I see it. Flying monkeys, y'all don't see it. I see that elephant. It's right there. And I address the elephant. And they go from 0 to 100 real quick. It goes from it is not a discussion, and I'll show you a couple of I'll give you a couple of examples. It's not a discussion. You cannot have a discussion with a narcissist, really, when you're disagreeing. You can have a discussion with them when you're agreeing with them, but when you're disagreeing with them or you're bringing something to them, you ain't finna have no discussion, because that discussion finna go from 0 to 100 is escalated automatically, and it's an argument. It's a screaming match. It is a almost fighting now. It's time to get my Vaseline. I'm about to take my head down and put my head back, and girl, it becomes that within that short of time, right? And he's like, when you in that moment and they see you react, you can kind of look out the side of your eye and see them smiling. He said, you kind of see that little demon that is inside of them just grinning. It's an evil grin. And I literally seen it one time. Y'all know, got me 2 big narcissists. Now I refer to them as the biggest narcissists in my life because I've had many other narcissists come across my path. It seems like that is who I attract, a lot of narcissism, right? So, and I know that was it was me attracting it. So for me to stop attracting these narcs, I have got these narcs. I have got to work on me, right? That's why we need to cut ties. Final discard done. I got to heal from a long time of being in these relationships. But hopefully I won't keep attracting from this point. I won't keep attracting that energy. But I have had many people come into my life with that energy. Most people came into my life with that energy. But the two biggest narcs in my life, just almost sucked me dry, like for real. And now that we are both cut ties with them for almost a year, it's almost been a year. I am finally on my healing path and finding me and finally looking at myself and said, Kitty, you're not so bad. You're actually a good person. You're not what they. But it happened with my aunt. Okay, so let me give you a scenario. I was struggling in school. I was an older student. I went back to school. I don't know if I've told the reason of me going back to college on this channel, but on my other channel I have. If I have told you, then just bear with me for a second. Okay, so I am the failure of my family. I'm the dreamer, but I'm also the failure. I go after any and every dream that I've ever had, but I've also failed at every attempt. I am basically the one of my mother's one child that couldn't make anything happen. Basically, like I refer to, there's two characters that remind me of myself. Everybody hates Chris. Where Chris was a good kid, always trying to do the right thing, but he always got the wrong result. And he was always accused of being bad or doing something wrong when he was actually trying to be good and better than good. But he just, for some reason, always caught flack. Him and the girl, Lynn, from Girlfriends. She was the dreamer. She was the one that was always after her passion, and it just never worked out. So she's changing to a new passion, and it just never worked out. So she was the one that had all these successful friends, right? She had Joan, who was a lawyer. She had I don't remember what Golden Brooks. What did her character? What was she? I know she was like a secretary or something, but she had a cute little job, even though she was a single mother. But she got it together and she was doing good. Who else? It was oh, the other girl. I can't think of her name, but she did good. She had all the money. She was a little bougie girl, whatever. But she was the one that just could not get it together. That is me. That is me. So how I ended up back in school, my mother at age 53 had graduated with her master's. And at her dinner celebration, her best friend from Chicago looks over at me and asks my old self, so Keita, what you gonna do with your life? I'm like, all these young jits at this table, you ask me, who clearly too old to keep chasing dreams, who clearly ain't caught a dream. Like me chasing my dreams looks like wild chickens. I'm trying to chase wild chickens and I just can't get them all back in the coop. Like that's the image I get with me chasing my dream. Like it just does not happen. And I'm like, literally, I've always been stuck in a 9 to 5. It has always been my passion to be an entrepreneur. I've always wanted my own business. Everything that I do lines up with being my own business person, cosmetology, graphic design, being a rapper. I was doing music, doing art as an artist, a YouTuber, TikToker, though I'm not monetized. Every single thing, passion and purpose has always led back to entrepreneurship. but I can never break free of the 9 to 5 rat race. So I run after my dreams. But when the bills due and the dream crumbles and falls and diminishes, I have to return back to work. So I've always went back to work with my tail tucked between my legs. I failed. I'm still in a rat race. Right? So she asked me, like, girl, why are you asking me? Like, clearly this all I'm finna do, be a cashier. That's it. Like, you could have asked the young kids that are not even in high school yet, that are have their whole future ahead of them, that have not failed at every turn, has not made the wrong decision, every decision being the wrong decision, even when they think that they're making the right decision, even when they seek guidance and feel like they've prayed and then they still make the wrong decision. They haven't done that. You're asking me, like, why me? I'm clearly not going to do anything but what I've done. I'm the failure, right? I'm going to work a mediocre 9 to 5 job, like literally barely paying my bills to survive, right? That's what I'm going to do, because that's all I've done. No matter how hard I've tried, that's all I've ascended to. So I gave her an answer. I said, I'm going to go back to college. I don't know why that came out my mouth, because when I'm gonna go back, I ain't gonna go back. I just wanted them to get the hot potato off of me and ask somebody else who actually might be able to do something with their life. So I said, I'm gonna go back to school. And because I said that, I knew my mama was gonna check in on me, and I could not lie to my mother. So I basically got myself back into college on the basis that I knew my mama was going to check in and say, see, you was just talking. Just so my mama couldn't say I was just talking, I actually got myself back into college. I never meant to go back to college, and somehow it happened. First day of school came, and I was in class, and my old self was in class, one of the oldest students. I wasn't the oldest student, but even the older students, they came from somewhere. Like, they were within industries and businesses and this and that, and they're just coming back to better themselves to higher levels. None were like, hey, I kind of never made anything of myself, and now I'm coming back at 30. I was 34. My first semester, I was 34. Barely got through my first semester, and then my mother passed in between, right, the 1 week in between my first semester and summer semester. So I really was like, I made the wrong mistake. But anyhow, I kept going. So after my mother passed, I felt like that was the one time my screw up self made my mother happy and proud, was when she knew I went back to school. So I finished school, I finished college off the strength that I made my mother proud that one time. And 5 years later, as a single mother, working overnight in a laundry room at a theme park, I struggled through school. But I graduated during the 2020 shutdown. The hardest time ever, it seems like, to graduate is when I graduated. And I was struggling. It was that 2020. Oh God, I got a whole nother story time about that. Man, I'm so glad I'm able to tell these stories. So these stories here are basically like releases for me. These are all the times I had to just bite the bullet and just swallow it and just say, okay, it's my fault, with dealing with the narcissistic people in my life, right? I always just had to just run me the blame. It's my fault. I understand. Okay, let's cut this short. It's my fault. You did nothing wrong. It is me. I'm the problem. It's me. Okay, so let's cut off, So just run me the blank. So for me to actually get these things out of myself, I'm putting them on video. So this is therapeutic for me. If it's nothing more than that, it is just me releasing all this nasty, festering trash within me and getting it out, right? Many times this feels so good. Even though nobody watches my videos or not many watch my videos, I still feel like I have released this from being stuck inside of me, right? So that's what it's basically about. So if you find value out of this, or if you don't find value out of this, then it's fine. I don't even know. I'm just doing this. This is like a diary, basically. But hopefully you can find something out of it. If you don't, just click off. Goodbye. It's fine. This is not for you. Maybe you can relate to what I went through. And maybe you know more than I do and you can offer me help. You know what I'm saying? But until you open your mouth, nobody can help you. So that's basically what this is. Don't look in it too much. Don't, because I see that I watch a lot of chosen one content, narcissistic content and stuff like that. And you get the whole thing from different perspectives, right? Because so many people have been through this. And literally until I found out what this dynamic was, I literally just hated myself and thought I was crazy and I must deserve all this horrible stuff that's happening to me because I'm just not a good person. It didn't make sense until I found this content, right? So I was struggling through college as an older student, also disabled student. I am disabled and I'm older. I went to college when my last time in college was 2003. I went back to school in 2016. The lady was like, you look a little different, because I had to go back and take my college ID picture. And they said, well, we have your old one on file. And they was like, well, we're probably going to have to take a up-to-date picture because you look a little bit different. And I'm like, yeah, it's much past, in my life. I had a high school about to graduate when I went back to college. And it was hard. Like literally, I can't type. I'm disabled. I have carpal tunnel. I'm legally blind. I'm losing my vision. So I had the issues with being on a computer. I have the issues. I can't hardly type. Carpal tunnel. But I want to be a graphic designer. Like, go figure. How does that even work out? So when I went back to school with all these young bucks that know how to type since they were born, they've been like this since they were born, and I'm pet typing. I didn't know nothing about a Mac. I didn't know nothing about computers. Computers when I was in school was them big shell back computers with the black and green screen. And now I'm in college. So I had not only the curve of learning, because my sense of web design, oh my gosh, they cracked up. Remember when I told y'all as graphic designers, you got to put stuff on that big screen to be critiqued? I was so proud of my first website, and everybody was like, and I'm thinking that is like surprising. Oh, you did so good. And I'm like, I did it in this color and that color and that color. And they're like, it was crazy. And then when I seen their perfect, beautiful, don't even know why you're in school because you clearly know everything already, websites, I was like, oh, that's why they look like that. My website looked like something from when the internet was first created, and yours look beautiful, like you don't even need to be sitting next to me because you clearly already know what you're doing. And a lot of teachers taught you as though you should already know what you're doing. Like, literally, what's wrong with you, girl? Like, you don't know what you're doing. No, that's why I'm in class. I don't know. I don't understand. And that's one thing in graphic design, they do not teach you designing. Crazy. They don't teach you design. Just like cosmetology don't teach you how to do hair. They teach you to pass state board. Graphic design teach you the software. But the design, you're supposed to already somehow innate know it. And I didn't. I thought that I could learn it. So I struggled. And I would try so hard. Soon as a teacher had gave the assignment, I was already working. And I would stay up from day to night, just all day on my days off. And I was slower, so it took me more time. And plus, I did not understand, so I had to go back. And I believe I had ADHD, so I could not follow the professor the whole time during class. You got to be present, but I would get lost, and I would get tired of raising my hand and being like everybody looking at me like stupid girl, like dummy. You don't get it. Like, I would literally have to ask many multiple questions till it started being embarrassing, because like I'm the older person that clearly shouldn't even be in school, like, and y'all just know what y'all are doing. I felt really, I don't know, it was a struggle. I don't even know how I made it. Grace of God, I graduated. I can't even tell you how I graduated, but I knew I tried hard, like harder than hard. It ain't even a word for how hard I tried. I just knew I had to work harder and harder and harder to be on the barest level, the lowest level, right, as everyone else. And I remember in college, anything lower than a C is failing. And with graphic design, you had only really each semester, you didn't get all these different assignments, like regular classes, bunch of assignments, and then they accumulate and you could get your grade, right? No, you had about 3 projects to 4 projects. It was better if you had 4. But if you had 3 and you did not, by me being so far behind, and then I had those 2 narcissists in my life. And I promise you, it felt like every time I had an assignment due, somehow the narcissist would have some type of crisis that I would have to help them with. And then when my stuff is due at 11:59 on the weekend, I am biting my teeth and barely turning in my assignment or missing my deadline because I fooled around with saving their lives again and barely can save my own. My own is going down the drain. And I just it felt like the devil sent them every single time I had something due. And I remember one time the teacher had said in my last semester, they was like, this is when, if you never had no support from your family, you're going to definitely need that support. You're going to have to ask them, hey, I know you need me for this or that, but I just need this time by myself. If you just support me in this, after this, we'll be fine. But she was like, you need to dedicate everything in this last semester. And your family you're going to need that support from them. And the first thing that hit my mind was, I'm screwed. I am screwed. My family don't support me whatsoever. They don't even, I got to the point where I was like, they don't have to love me, but at least respect me. They don't even respect me, my time, my space. My narcissistic family would call me anytime, day or night. Don't care if I worked overnight. They calling me as soon as I get in that bed, and they ring back to back to back. If they don't get me, they call the next person in the house to literally, I would have to run in my sister's room and say, please don't answer the phone. Please don't answer the phone. I didn't answer the phone for them. So I know the next few minutes they're going to call you. Don't answer them, or tell them I'm busy or I'm asleep or something. But they're going to make their way to me. And if they're close enough, They're going to come to the house and they're going to see my car outside. And then they're going to call and call and call. Or if I post on Facebook, they're going to see my post and they're going to say, oh, I know you know that I'm calling you and you just won't answer. Like, literally, they did not. And I kept saying, if they really love me, they would support me. They would want me to get through college, right? Like, anyone you love, don't you want them to do better for themselves? Like, it literally felt like they were trying to sabotage me. But then in the next breath, they're telling me they love me. Like, love don't equal sabotage. Like, what? Okay, guys, I'm sorry. There's the most beautifulest sunset right in front of me. I will be back. I got to take a picture of that. Y'all know I do my sunset photography. Hold on. That's where it is. That is so beautiful, but I'm trying to stop it so I can get the picture of it. All right. So, anyways, vibe when I was in school. It was so hard. Not to mention, this is when my husband, who's wrongfully incarcerated, he used to be close to our home for a while. And this is when he got transferred out, like back into the country woods, like far away from home. It was so much going on. I had a high schooler. I'm caregiver to my sister. My mother had passed away, and my mother's dying wish was that somebody would take care of my sister, that she wasn't left just stranded. So it was so much going on in this moment. It was too much. It was time. I didn't sleep. I would sleep in chairs, which y'all know my neck is already messed up. I have all these herniated discs, TMJ in my jaw. I got everything. Y'all already know. But I'm sleeping in chairs so that I can sleep 2 hours. I went to college on 2 different campuses because I was taking graphic design and web design. So one campus was way across town on the east side and one was on the west side. I would get off from work, working in the laundry room in pure utter pain, and would have to come home, sleep in my office chair, put my feet up on the bed so I don't get in the bed and fall all the way asleep, So just get a cat nap and then head on to school. And after school, then it was too much. It's like cramming too much into. That's what my problem was in graphic design. My teacher, okay, so you have a grid, right? Everything is done by grid. And they would always tell me, what can you take away? Because I would always try to put too much. I did too much. I was putting in too much design. Less is more in graphic design, right? And also in life, doing less sometimes tends to get you more results. And I was doing way too much, burning the candle at both sides. So this is the setup, right? So I was struggling. Then it was 2020. We were put on automatically, like put onto no, I think this instance happened right before we were put from in class to everything on Zoom. A platform that nobody knew about. Nobody understood. And me, my slow self, definitely don't understand this Zoom stuff. Thrown like that. So that was the setup. And I was trying my hardest. And on one of my major assignments, I failed. So I barely got a C. And it was like, this teacher that I had was just so critical. Like, you have some graphic designer, like some teachers that, like, it's like you're not even, because they say the industry is so like cutthroat and so like what do you call that, competitive, that they wanted you to be to the highest, but for me, I was doing my highest. Like, that was the best I could do, And I was kind of venting to my aunt. I remember we were driving somewhere. She was in my passenger seat, and I was kind of upset. Anytime I would go through it, I don't have nobody to call. So if you can relate, who do you usually call? The narcissist. Like when you're feeling low, you actually call and reach out to the narcissist because you think they're human and you think they're your family. And your family, you automatically think they support you. And you think deep down inside they love you. So at that one time when you're going to be down, they're going to look down and pick you up, right? So I'm venting about how I try so hard. I can't understand, like, I'm doing the best I can. How am I don't get this. Like, and it's difficult. It's hard. I don't understand. And my aunt, my narcissistic aunt, looked over at me. And that's when I seen, remember when not Life with Anthony. He was another one I liked. Carl Leifer. He was when I was following Carl Life. Like he's not doing The Chosen One, but for a while I would just love Carl Life. And I'm thinking when my little husband get out of prison, we might be some car lifers for real. But then I'm like, girl, how he gonna feel about being in a cell for all these years and then now we finna live in cars and motor vehicles? He might be like, girl, goodbye. I need the biggest like I cannot be cooped up. But I don't know. I haven't ran it past him because he probably think I'm crazy. But yeah, Intuitive Anthony, not Life with Anthony, but shout out to both creators. I love both of them. But Intuitive Anthony, how he said when you look over it and you kind of glance out the side of your eye, you see them with that little smirk. It's like an evil. I'm trying to do it, but I can't. And you see them basically. So it's like them dropping that mask. They wear a mask of, oh, I love you. I'm your loving, caring aunt. And that mask dropping is like that. And I'm crying out. And my aunt tells me, well, have you ever thought maybe your designs are not that good? Of course I thought that. That's all I think. I always think that in my mind. Like literally, I critique everything that I do that it is not good enough. So I just keep working on it, working on it, working on it. And then the teacher tells me, well, this version way back here was really good. You should have just stopped there. So clearly, yes, I thought it's not that good. But who aunt would ever say that? Whose aunt? And then she would back it up. Well, I'm just brutally honest. And people just don't like me because I tell the truth. She told me, have you ever thought that your designs just aren't that good? Yeah, that's all I think. I don't think anything I do is good. Thank you for confirming that, loving aunt. And I know looking back, I know she was loving that. She was loving that. They made it so hard for me to get through school, but I did. And it was one time, like I would always be driving them places. Like that's all I did was favors almost every day. Favors. You want to do me a favor real quick? Oh, you coming on your way? Well, stop by here real quick. Or, oh, before you do this, then make sure you do this everything real quick. Oh, after you get off of work, do you think you could swing by? I was always doing something like almost every single day for 2 narcissists, plus trying to take care of myself, who's falling apart, and my family that are trying to pick up the pieces after my mother wrongful outing after an outpatient surgery. Like, we're literally trying to put our lives back together. But yes, I can do all the favors in the world for you. Like, literally, if you love me, you would see that I'm falling apart. But yes, I can clearly do more for you, even though I'm barely holding it together. And so she needed me to take her to go get something to eat. And I remember one time I had my magazine that I was working on, and she looked at it and she was like, "Who did this?" And I was like, "I did it." And she was like, "Oh, that's really nice." And I'm like, as many times as I showed you this work, you never even acknowledged it. This same work that I've showed you over and over and over. And every time I try to show it, you kind of change the subject, or somehow we get caught off on this, or you get on the phone, or it's always somehow where we just divert attention from me for 1 second. Like, we always focus on you and your problem. But the 1 second when we do focus on me for a moment, it's inverted back to you, diverted back to you, right? So you haven't seen this work. Like, this is the same magazine I've been showing you. She's like, "Oh, it's nice." So every now and then they give you that positive reinforcement, but it's not too often. It's just like with my husband's wrongful conviction case. Like, literally, I had been calling on my family, "Can you please just support me? I need people to share and sign my petition." Even when I was doing my music, I needed people to play my music. I needed people to share my music. It's like you need a handful of people until you can get the ball rolling. Everything is, it escalates. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger, right? But it starts with a small ball. There's very few things you can do on your own. Only you and your soul might, without another person. Every YouTuber that's hit YouTube has only did it with other people's support, right? And been big. If you didn't have other support, you would basically be me on YouTube for years and not make it, right? But the only difference between you and me is that you've made it. People have supported you, right? So you could be me if you didn't have support, right? So you should honor your viewers. You should be thankful and grateful for your viewers. But many get up there and then they're like, "Oh, I don't need y'all viewers," or they go talking smack to their viewers, or it's like, what? You wouldn't be nothing without your viewers or your subscribers. But I've been like literally trying to break my husband's wrongful conviction forever. Like, I know his case inside out. And I hate that I'm the only one that really cares or knows about his case, because if I ever leave this earth, or whenever I leave this earth, right? If I leave before he's free, the fight for him dies with me, right? So I would love for somebody else to help me, or know, at least know the ins and out of the case, so that my whole fight in life don't be in vain, right? But nobody would ever help me. My family would not help me. My family would watch me on. Now, I listen to Diamond Royal Ministries. I love her too. As she says, she got off of Facebook. And I was so glad when God broke that Facebook addiction off of me. And I was not on Facebook for the reasons that other people on Facebook. I was literally on there because I'm an artist and a creative, and I have this mission. I have a whole mission I'm trying to do. And the way to do it in this day and age is on social media. So I got to be on social media, right? And it was always just putting out the next thing saying, oh, this is when people are gonna actually see what I'm doing and support. Oh no, this next thing or this next post or this next project or this next painting is gonna be the moment when it actually breaks through and people, you know, catch on to it and start circulating the story, and then my husband's free and stuff like that. And I kept realizing that my family would never, they seen my posts. I know they seen them. They wouldn't push like. They wouldn't share. They wouldn't comment. They wouldn't nothing. 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 Not even my husband's family. And it dawned on me one day that if they ain't help you in this long, why do I think one day they're gonna get up and say, maybe I should help Keita out. She helps me so much. She takes me way across town, back and forth. Don't ask for nothing. I could just like her video. I could just share her video. No, they would never feel that way. So I finally got it into my head that I was never going to get their support. And I finally left Facebook. I still have my Facebook because all my pictures are on there. All the pieces of my project are on there. And it's years of work. But I'm no longer actively on there. Because they're nothing but the people I went to school with that never support, that actually were my bullies in school, right? I was bullied. Didn't like me when I was in school, so of course she ain't gonna like me now. My family, who doesn't like me, who would really ever support me on Facebook? And then I didn't realize algorithm on Facebook only gonna show you to those same handful of people that never supported you. So it became purposeless. Like, I didn't realize how much effort I was throwing into a black hole. And one day, my aunt says, after I'd told her this story a million trillion times, and she don't just let you tell her the story, she gonna cut you all 20,000 trillion times. You ain't gonna know where you left off in the story. You're gonna have to overtalk her and this and that to ever get your point across. And I'll be like, just forget it. I have TMJ. It hurts me to talk. Just let it go. And then she'll say, oh, I'm listening. I'm listening. How you listening, but you talking over every single word that I say? But one day she gets up and she's like, he's innocent. And I'm like, you think? Yeah, how this, and this. And I'm like, well, this is the story I've been telling you for years. Like, over 20 years I've been telling you this story. Like, you wouldn't share the petition. You wouldn't like the post. And she's like, I never realized. I think that's when I used to drink so much. So I just wasn't in my right mind. So it's like every so often you would see their true self, mask off. But it's just a glimpse, and then they quickly, oh, hold on, let me hurry up and get my mask back on. They seen the real me. They seen how I really feel about them. I got to pretend to care. They know I don't care. But yeah, so I don't know. It's crazy. All right, guys. I got a lot more stories. I got a lot more stories. I got decades worth of stories of all the things that I have been through under narcissistic abuse. No, I'm not dwelling here. I'm telling these stories to get them out, and you might relate to them. All right, guys.